Here we will learn the flexural strength test of concrete beam by ASTRO and ASTM test specification. Then the selection of beam size. To select the beam size for flexural strength test, we need to follow the ASTRO T23. In section 6.2, it is mentioned the standard beam shall be 152 by 152 mm or 6 inch by 6 inch in cross section and shall be used for concrete with maximum size of coarse aggregate up to 50 mm or 2 inch. Unless required by the project specification, beam made in the field shall not have a width or depth of less than 6 inch. The length shall be at least 50 mm or 2 inch greater than the 3 times the depth as tested. Tamping rod requirement. For the tamping rod requirement, we need to follow the table of ASTRO T23 or ASTM C31. When the width of the beam is 150 mm or 6 inch, then the diameter of the tamping rod will be 16 mm or 5/8 inch and the length of rod will be 500 mm or 20 inch. Here the tolerance of length will be 100 mm and 2 mm for diameter. Requirement of layer and rodding. For the layer and rodding requirement of beam, we need to follow the table 2 of ASTRO T23 or table 3 of ASTM C31. When the beam width is 150 mm to 200 mm, then the number of layer will be 2 and the approximate equal depth. And for the number of rodding per layer, we need to follow the section 9.3.2 of ASTRO T23. In section 9.3.2, it is mentioned the number of rodding per layer requirement of beam is 1 for each 13 cm square or 2 inch square. When the beam length is 20 inch, the number of rodding per layer will be 60. And when it is 21, it will be 63. After each layer of rodding, tap the outside of the mold 10 to 15 times with mallet. Making of beam. Here we have used a beam mold with internal length is 21 inch and depth and width is 6 inch. So the number of layer will be 2 and the number of rodding per layer will be 63 numbers. First we need to fill the beam mold by 50% with concrete as per approved mix design and rodding the concrete by 63 numbers. Then fill the mold with concrete by remaining 50% as per approved mix design and tamping it again by 63 numbers. After each layer of rodding, tap the beam mold to 10 to 15 times. Remove of formwork. The formwork will be removed after 48 hours of molding. Curing of beam. The beam will be cured in a curing tank at a temperature of 23 ± 2 degrees Celsius. Before 24 hours, it will be cured in water saturated with calcium hydroxide. Test of beam. There are two types of loading system to determine the flexural strength test. First the 2-point loading and second the 3-point loading. Here we will test the beam in 3-point loading system. For test of any beam, it will be marked 3 equal segments of 6 inch from the center. Then the beam will be placed in the testing machine. The stress will be given 0.9 to 1.2 MPa per minute. After failure, the load will be measured. Large the calculation. For case 1, if the beam fails in the middle third of the span length, then the flexural strength will be PL by BD square. Here P equal to maximum load applied, L equal to length of beam, B equal to breadth or width of beam, and D equal to depth of beam. For case 2, if the beam fails outside middle third of the span length. The flexural strength will be 3PA by BD square. Here A equal to average distance between the line of fracture and the nearest support. If the fracture occurs in the tension surface outside of the middle third of the span length by more than 5% of the span length, discard the result of the test. So the value of A will not be less than 127.5 mm.